from just one dot all the way to 3D building. Yup, that's right. Today I'm going to show you how a small dot can go into lines, to shapes, and finally to 3D spaces we live in. And this is how architects think from the very beginning. And today we are going to see how points become lines, lines become shapes, and shapes become 3D spaces we live in. And that's not all. I'm going to show you the features of 1D, 2D, and 3D. And at the end, I've got a fun bonus that will surprise you. Well, let's start. The point is just a location. No length, no width, no height. Just a spot like where you tap your pen on a piece of paper. A key feature here is it marks a place. In design, points can mark where things begin. Like the corners of a wall, survey points which are used to trace out a plot. In design, architects use points to be able to create patterns. For example, to draw a circle, you need a single point at the center, then to form the radius around it. In application, architects use points to be able to trace entrance into a building, map out garden areas, or even create a starting point for a wall. Now, when a point starts to move, it makes a mark, which is called a line. So you can see a line is just a point going on a walk. So lines can be long, short, or curved. With that, the key feature of a line is it has a length. It has no width, no height. In design, line shows direction like a row of pillars. We commonly have lines called axis line, which marks the center of a B. So lines are very, very important. Even in drawing architectural plans, two parallel lines is called a wall. So if you pick an architectural plan, you are going to see that it's made up of lines upon lines upon lines. And these lines represent walls, slabs, elevation, section, roof elements. So lines are very important in architectural planning. What happens if a line then moves and closes up? You either come a rectangle, a triangle, a square, or any flat surface you know of. And this flat surface is called a plane, which is in 2 dimensions, commonly called 2D. So architects use planes to be able to represent floor areas, slabs, walls, and flat surfaces. So the key features of a plane is it has a length, a width, no height, or no depth. Now here's the interesting part. Pull a plane out, we are going to have a volume, which is a 3D shape, and these are the spaces we live in, which could be your room, a cathedral, or even the toilet space you used this morning. In design, volumes are the spaces we live, work, and play in. So architects shapes volume to control how light gets in, which in a building we'll be talking about windows and doors, how sound moves, and how we feel like inside. For example, if you walk into a cathedral, you'll feel it's grand. And if you walk into your room, which is tidy, you're going to see that it feels cozy. So it just gives us how we feel in a space. So there is it, from a single point to lines, to shapes, and finally to volumes and spaces we live in. And here's the fun part. Every structure you find builds up from these principles. From the bungalow I'm currently living in to the skyscraper in Dubai, all these use these same basic principles. So here's the fun part I promised at the end of the video. You're going to propose the title of the next video I'm going to do in this series. And with that said, all glory to God. See you.